All right, we are live. Let me turn on my music so we can get this party started.
Brown Girl Bella.
All right, hang on. Let me share this out.
Brown Girl Bella.
Hello, everybody. I see 5 are watching us. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm just sharing myself out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way in.
Brown Girl Bella.
Welcome in, DOD.
Brown Girl Bella.
Hey, Lady C. Welcome in. Don't forget to smash that like button.
Brown Girl Bella.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. Of course, this is Brown Girl Bella. This is our second installment of Boss Babes. And today I have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Adrianne James. And before I introduce her, let me just throw out a disclaimer. This is my cut up buddy. This is the one where if I got a secret, she probably know about it. But she ain't gonna tell you because that's my girl. So she gonna keep it like Fort Knox. But she's my cut up buddy. She's my road dog. That's my Sans. Besides my number one, my line sister, that's the only other number one I fool with on a daily basis. We talk, we cut up, we laugh, we giggle, and we have been through everything together. And so when I started this series, I had her in mind. And when I said, okay, this is the trigger I'm going to pull, and now I'm going to do this, that was the phone call. Michelle actually came first and did the first one, but I knew if I was doing this series, I had to have Adrianne James here with us. So without further delay, let me read you her bio and let you know why this sister right here is a boss babe. So unlike what I did to Michelle, I told her I'm going to stop being vain and start wearing my reading glasses, which I need to read and read her bio like it's supposed to be read. Adrianne is a senior project manager consultant and has been in this role for 10 years. She founded Ivy Solutions LLC in 2018. Ivy Solutions is a small federal and state contracting firm specializing in project and program management. Adrianne is a graduate of the University of the District of Columbia with a BA in political science and from George Washington University with a Master of Science in project management. After being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, in 2008, Adrianne has made a number of lifestyle changes, including becoming a director-level sales agent for the Total Life Changes products. She is helping individuals transform their health through these TLC products. Adrianne is originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and in her spare time, she collects first edition books and has an autograph collection. She currently lives in Washington, D.C., and is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the Junior League of Washington. You can follow Adrianne on Instagram at DorchesterGirl02121 and learn more about transforming your health through her TLC products link. I have that link in the description box below, so make sure that you see that. Without further amble, let me bring to you my sister, my Sans, my soror, Adrianne James. Hello.
Hi, everyone. And thank you, BrownGirlBella, for having me today. I could not say no to my Sans. She is absolutely right. We are sisters from another mother. And we have been in this thing for a long time together as friends. So we will go to our graves with secrets that we have shared with each other and things that we have done on our road trips. So yes. So
Yes.
I would never say no to her. I'm glad to come here today to talk to you. I do hope that I can answer your questions and that there anything that I can share with you today that it would benefit somebody on the call or can benefit someone in your life.
So let's start with the diagnosis because I was there when you got the diagnosis, and just tell us like what was the preamble that led up to it and then what happened with the diagnosis. Hello to everybody coming in. Crystal, welcome.
So the diagnosis, I was diagnosed. So Shannon knows that I was diagnosed in 2008, and it was just before I was diagnosed the week prior to our national convention, the week prior to Alpha Alpha's 100-year anniversary here in DC. And so I went into the Boulay week with that diagnosis being fresh, new. The doctor just telling me that that's what I had. But earlier in the year, I had in February had an episode. It was my first episode. It was the middle of the night. I woke up and my entire left side was like it was shut down. And I didn't know what was happening. I remembered looking for aspirin because I was thinking that I was having a stroke or a heart attack or something like that. And I did find some aspirin in my bathroom and I took that. And then I went to the ER, took a taxi to the ER. And so I went to the ER in the middle of the night by myself. I was living by myself. Wasn't nobody here for me to call. I didn't think to, call somebody at 2:00 in the morning. So I just went. And the emergency room doctor, and I know that this has not gone this way for a lot of people with MS. I think that I was just blessed and fortunate in that moment that God put this doctor in that hospital at that time, that night, because I've heard from people who told me that this is not the way it went for them, that they went to the ER, they went to the doctor, and it took them, months to even figure out what was wrong with them. So he was asking me a lot of questions about what had happened with me, and I told him. And so he did some tests, and he looked at me and he said, you didn't have a stroke, and you're not having a heart attack. Your blood pressure is 110 over 70 or whatever it is. It was perfect. And so he sent me the MRI. And so it was when the MRI came back that he walked into the exam room and said to me that, what he was reading from the MRI report looked like it was similar to people who have what's called multiple sclerosis. And so I had never heard of that. I had to look it up. When I got home, I had never heard of that. I had to research that. And it was funny because it was a Friday. So when this happened, I had to wait all weekend to see my doctor the following Monday, because what he had done was he had contacted her through the emergency service and to let her know that he had, because I had an internal medicine doctor that I had been going to for years. So he asked me who she was, and he had contacted her. And so he told me that he contacted her, that he had gotten in contact with her, and that she wanted to see me on Monday at 12:30. Okay. And so I was going to have to wait until Monday at 12:30, all weekend, right? Right. About this situation. And so it was from that point on that I started this journey with, being seen by neurologists, because of course she then sent me to a neurologist. She read the report from the radiologist. She let me know on that Monday morning that she too thought that it was, MS, beginning stages of MS. At that point, they had found, I think I had 2 lesions on the brain, and they were in the brain stem. So these are not things that they can go in and operate on or things like that. It's just you just gonna have to deal. And so she explained to me what that was, but then she put me in contact with a neurologist that I had to make an appointment with. And I will say that, my first neurologist out the box, he's one of the top neurologists in DC. I will give him that. He is no slacker. He's big time. Okay. He actually operated on I believe it was Barbara Bush back in the day when she had that brain she had brain surgery. That was her doctor. Okay. And so I called him the rock star. I called him the Bret Michaels of neurology. Okay. And of neurological and autoimmune diseases. And he would come into his exam with all of his GW med students. Now, I graduated from GW, grad school. I have a great appreciation for GW. It is, I love the buff and the buff blue. Love them. I don't have a problem with it. But here I am, just been diagnosed, and here comes this man bringing these students in, and you late for your appointment every single time, and you bring these students in. And so what he was doing, because he was old school, he wanted me to have. He wasn't fully diagnosing me. He wasn't telling me how to manage MS. He was waiting for me to have another episode. Oh, wow. And it took me a few months to figure that out. Oh, wow. Waiting for me to have another episode. And I will say this, the first episode that I had was that episode in February where I went to the ER. It didn't cause permanent damage, but what it caused was severe vertigo, which I was dealing with. And so, he was like, well, you shouldn't be going to work with the vertigo, so I'm going to write you a letter. And I had literally just left the job, guys, that I had been working. I had worked the same job for 7 years out of undergrad, had worked the same job. And I had literally, when I got sick with this, I had only been 2 months out of that job. I had just started government contracting. Yeah. Just left. You remember I left NCCA. Yeah. I started government. I had literally only been working for this company for like 2.5 months or something like that when I got sick. And so I don't want these people to know that there's something wrong with me. So I'm literally crawling through the metro every day, getting on trains, going to work with vertigo, going to work because I don't want them to know that there's something wrong with me. I don't want them to think that, I'm weak. I can't do my job. And so he's like, I need to write you a letter. You can't go to work with this vertigo. And so, of course, he writes me this letter. And I had at the time a boss who I'll say that she probably voted for 45. He actually argued with HR and told them that because the doctor was a GW doctor and because I graduated from GW, that I probably had one of my doctor friends, I had one of my med school friends write a letter for me.
You didn't tell me that part.
What goes on when people have diseases, especially you have autoimmune diseases like lupus and MS, and people can't see that there's something wrong with you. They think that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're faking, that they're right. Thank you. When people can't see something, it's a problem. And so, I really had to. So now I'm stressed out with the job. I'm fighting with these people that I just started working with, and I'm sick, and I have a doctor who's literally waiting for me to have another episode. So every time I go to an appointment and ask him, what are the medicines for this? What are some things that I should be doing to help myself, right? So what should I be doing to make my situation better? He can't tell me, right? He's not going to tell me because he's waiting for me to have another episode. And then he admitted it. I think it was my 4th appointment with him. He admitted that that's what he was doing. He's I don't know that I'm sure that you have MS. So I'm going to see what happens. I said,
wait and see. I just want to stop for a minute and welcome everybody in. I see my line sister is here. Hey. And, she said, hey, Sands. And Jay Luck is here. Thank you so much for coming over. Frank Woods, welcome in. Yes, we are talking with Adrianne James. She is talking about when she first got diagnosed with MS. Where we left off was the doctor was waiting actually to see her actually have another episode. So every time she went to the doctor to get a diagnosis or get a checkup or to understand what is happening to her, he literally was doing a wait and see because he was waiting for another episode to happen. So I'm sorry, continue. Hey, Melinda's here.
So he was waiting for that. And so what ended up happening was I was still, even though he wanted me to stay home with the vertigo, I was still calling into work every day. And what I was doing was I was staying late because I, was trying to be this superstar because I didn't want people to think there was anything wrong with me. I was already having to go to all these doctor's appointments during the day. And so you're on a new job. You want people to see you at your best. Exactly. And so one night I was sitting there, it's after 6, I was working on something and I literally couldn't stand up.
Oh my God.
And nobody was in the office. And I'm in one of these big federal buildings. The office that I was working in, I was on a VA contract, but I wasn't at the VA central office. I was in one of their satellite offices that was actually in the HUD building, which is the housing and urban development building. And so they have a huge building down in what we call LaFont Plaza here in DC. And so there was nobody in that office. I mean, it was empty. I was in there by myself and I'm thinking to myself, I can't get out of here. So how am I going to I might have to call security. How am I going to get out of here? And I remember getting on the phone and calling one of my friends and I cried and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to leave. Right. And she's like, well, I'm going to come down there. And I was like, are you going to get in? It's a federal building.
It's a federal building. You need to get in.
Right. And so I sat there and I said, you need to calm down. And it took me, I sat there for 45 minutes before I could actually stand up and get myself out of the building to get home. And so the next day, early in the morning, I was on the phone, 8 o'clock in the morning. I had gone home that night and searched doctors in DC. And I'm from Boston, so I'm all about Massachusetts. I love Boston. That's first home. DC is second home. And so in Massachusetts, we have top 5 hospitals in the country are in Massachusetts. The top 5.
That's right.
So I go home to one of those geniuses. I can't stay here; these people kill me, right?
Exactly.
And so I literally started searching. And so I searched and I found that, Georgetown here has a huge neurology department. They have doctors who specialize in MS. And so I had them on the list. I had the hospital, one of the hospitals up in Boston on the list. I was willing to go home, travel home. I had Johns Hopkins on the list, which is out in Baltimore. And the next day I got on the phone and I started calling. And I called Georgetown, and the young lady said to me, she said, he's booked solid. She said, he's good.
The rock star that wanted to wait and see.
I'm getting away from him. He was at Georgia. He was at GW. I was done with him.
Okay.
When I could get up out of my seat the night before, I was done with him.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me have another major episode that could cripple me, that could have me in rehab.
Exactly.
And so the next morning, I'm like, I gotta find another doctor. I don't care if I need a referral. I'm my own referral. And so on the phone, I said to her, she said, she said, who's sending you? She said, is your doctor sending? I said, no, I'm sending myself. And she said, okay. And I started crying. And I said, listen, I said, you have to help me. I said, you can't hang up this phone on me. You have to help me. And I said, I don't care. I said, you have to help me. I said, this man is waiting for me to have another episode. I'm going to be in a wheelchair. I'm going to be in rehab messing with him. I couldn't get up from my seat last night.
Right.
And she said, you can't tell anybody I did this. She said, he has an opening next Thursday at 3:00. She said, can you be here at 3 and can you bring all of your film from every single MRI you had up until this point? And I said, yes, I can. Okay. And I was there that following week, 3:00, and it was just so happened it was the week before the boule.
Right.
And he had gone over everything. He gave me an exam. He sat me down and he said, okay, so here's the thing. He said, you're in the beginning. He said, this is the beginning stages of MS. He said, it's early. He said, I can keep you moving, but you got to keep yourself moving. He said, and I'm going to give you these brochures. He said, these are the medications that I would suggest for you at this time for early stage MS. He said, I'm going to let you research those. I'm not going to write you a prescription. He said, I'm going to let you make another appointment to come back. He said, I'm going to let you research those. I'm going to let you read about those. And if you have questions, you can email me and you can ask me questions about these and I can talk to you about them. He said, but I want you to make your decision about which one of these medicines you want to try first. He said, and then we can talk about that your next time in. And he gave me some medication for the vertigo.
Okay.
And he said, I suggest that you work from home. He said, and I can contact your office myself. He said, I won't let you take the letter. He said, I understand that you've already had some problems with them. He said, I can call them myself. I can, give me the information and I can contact them myself. And that's how I got started on my journey to having to live with MS. And it was hard because, I think I spent like the first year in depression that you guys didn't know about. That I just, because you know how I do.
Yeah. Right.
So right. So I spent like
Eat to Live Strong. She's also a MS warrior. So she's telling you, yes, MS warrior, fellow MS warrior. Jay Luck says she has a family member with MS as well. And Eat to Live Strong was saying vertigo is no joke.
It's not.
No. So go ahead with your story, Adrianne, because I want to get to the point where, it's a week before Boule. You're about to go. We're about to celebrate a once in a lifetime event because we'll never see the next centennial.
We will not be here. And I don't think I want to be here. Our names will be up in lights with the IBD.
It will. But I mean, for us to witness our sorority turning 100 years and for us to be in that moment, you didn't want to miss it. I didn't want to miss it. But you have this diagnosis now. You know what it is. You have medicines for it. One of the triggers is extreme heat, and we're in DC in July.
In July. And it was so funny because, and at the time, and I remember you guys tiptoeing around me and like, oh my God, it's hot out here. When we did that march, when we marched from
Yes.
center to the Capitol, and y'all were like, oh no.
Because she was like, why are you wearing that hot ass dress?
Because I was so angry with. So let's get off course 1 second, just real quick. There was a sweatsuit that the sorority sold, and it was for the centennial. It was like the centennial sweatsuit, and I remember when they started selling
Thank you, Divine Wisdom, for the super sticker.
In the fall before that, they started selling this sweatsuit. And I refused to buy the sweatsuit. And your brown girl Bella here, was sending me messages. Are you gonna get this sweatsuit so we can wear this sweatsuit together? And I was like, I'm not. It's gonna be 1,000 degrees in DC in the middle of July. I am not wearing a centennial sweatsuit anywhere. I'm not doing that. Brown girl Bella was so hype about that 100 years. She bought that sweatsuit, y'all. And I want us to find some pictures of Shannon in that sweatsuit so we can put it up here for you guys on the next time. So you can see her in this sweatsuit in the middle of July in the summertime. And
we're about to die.
With 99.9% humidity, and so we were on this walk, and she was worrying about me, and I was worrying about her. I was like, "Girl, you not gonna make it.
Are you gonna be all right?
Are you gonna be all right?
No, we gotta get water. We gotta stop. We gotta take a break."
And I'm looking at her like, "I just want you out of this wetsuit, girl." And so. And we got to the Capitol finally, but it was, back then I was newly diagnosed and I was still learning about MS and learning about it. And the one thing I'll say about MS, and other people who have MS will say this as well, everybody's MS is different. And you learn that after, diagnosis and after being in it for, a year to 2 years, a couple of years in, you learn that how different your MS is from maybe the next person's.
Yeah.
And so, because I had, I would go to different events for the MS Society, and I would see other people with MS, and I would see people that were like me who were walking around with, without a walker, without a cane, and they didn't have any lesions on their spine, because you can also get lesions on your spine, not just your brain, but you can get them on your spine. And the people who have lesions on their spine are usually the people who have movement issues. And so I, thank God, don't have any on my spine, so I don't have any movement issues at this time. But I would go to places where I would see people that had that. And so remember, we kept wondering why, it was the entire week. It was 8 days of, of that conference. Remember, 8 days. And it was hot, and I didn't have any issues in the heat. And so
we're in DC, not Georgia, but Georgia is summer too.
Yeah, Georgia's a hot mess. That's yeah. We've had a conference in Georgia that I didn't go to. But I've since realized that, which is the strange thing, is that my MS does not act out in the heat. Oh. I have problems in the extreme cold, which is interesting. And I remember asking my doctor about it because I thought that maybe they had misdiagnosed me and I didn't have MS and I had something else.
Right.
And he said that in his research, he has found that there are some of us that do not have problems in the heat, and that it is the opposite, that we have problems in the extreme cold. That he doesn't know whether it's because of the time of year that we were diagnosed, that when we first had our first episode, because I will say that I do have to watch it like around January, February. I tend to kind of then start to have a few problems, like maybe I'll have a mild episode, because that is around the time that I had my first episode. So there's research on that, like, when people tend to have episodes. And is it sometimes having more episodes around the time of year that you first got your first episode, or what was it? But I do tend to have problems in extreme cold. and not extreme heat, which is interesting. And I'm from Massachusetts, which gets extremely cold in the wintertime, in the single digits. And so, you know, I go home sometimes in the winter, but I mean, I stay out of Massachusetts in the winter anyway, because the snow is too much for me. I don't know how y'all doing it up there in the north.
Child.
Yeah.
New England. You know. I complain about this place all the time.
I know you do, and it snows every other day. I'm like, well, I can't understand. I can't do it. So in DC, that first snowflake, we all go home. Come outside, you can't go outside. So, you know, I've had to learn just about MS and about what I can do. And I will say that one of the biggest things that you can do when you have any of these autoimmune diseases, the thing that I've learned is that diet is important. And what you're taking in is important. So everything that you're bringing in is important. And I think the one thing that I decided early on was that I come from a family of diabetics and heart disease. So I come from like this family of folk who have these things that, you know, are just hereditary, right? Exactly. And so I remember telling Melinda this before. I was like, I said, you know, all of the medications, they just started in maybe like the last 5 or 6 years with they have these pills that they've come out with for treating MS. But when I first was diagnosed, everything was a shot. So everything was a shot. You had your choice of a weekly shot, 4 times a week shot, right? 7 days a week shot. And this is not you going down to some nurse or something and they give it to you. They come sending somebody to your house and teaching you how to give yourself this shot, and you had to give it to yourself every week. So, you know, now they have pills for that. And I remember saying to Melinda before, you know, listen, I don't want to be a diabetic. I gotta control my own health, because I can't have MS and 2 or 3 other ailments.
Exactly.
Right. I'm not doing it. Right. I can't do that. And so that was one of the things that, you know, I knew that I needed to avoid. So I had to start kind of looking at, you know, how I was eating, you know, making sure that I get sufficient exercise. So one of the things that, you know, I've been kind of, you know, really trying to make sure that, especially now that, you know, the 5-0 is coming, it's around the corner. You know, my half birthday is coming up on, you know, October 8th. I'm halfway there, Shannon. It's almost time. It's almost time for 50. You got your fan up, you know. You see, I got keep breaking it out every 5 minutes. So right. So, you know, I need to, you know, make sure that I am staying on top of things. So I will say this. I read a lot of books about how, you know, millionaires live their life, because, you know, I'm trying to get there myself. And so, and that, you know, they're early risers, you know, so I'm an early riser, and I get up, you know, I meditate in the morning. I go out and I take a 3 to 4 mile walk every morning at 6:15 in the morning. I'm outside, and I hit the pavement, and I'm moving. I do that walk in about 40 minutes. And I'm back, you know, this way. I'm standing up in the Starbucks, you know, getting that ice cold brew black, because I need it. Okay. Right. And that's, you know, that's before, you know, logging in to work. That's before, you know, checking the email and things like that. And so that is just something that I do. I make sure that I'm doing strength training 3 times a week, because when you have these auto.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying how the blinding lights that came in.
Oh, I see people coming in here. Yes. So when you have these kind of diseases, you can't let it take you. And I think for like the first couple of years, because I spent it being depressed about my situation, I was letting it take me. And then I think I woke up one day and was like, you know, I can't let this take me. I got a lot of years left to go, right? And I cannot let this take me. And it was 2008 that, you know, that I had that doctor look me in the face and say to me, well, I can give you 12, 13 good years. And here I am in 2020, here I go into 2021, and I'm still in my good years.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because, I know I can't eat fried chicken every day, right? Or I can't eat, whatever every day. And when I look at what's going on with COVID and the fact that, African American people are dying at such a high rate, and it's because, we have, a little bit too much weight on us, and, we're not wearing a mask because we don't believe that there's a virus, or but a lot of it is because when you look at some of the research and you look at what the doctors are saying, the people that have been admitted to the hospital with COVID, they're pumping them up with vitamin D and things like that. It's vitamins that we are deficient in, and we tend to be deficient in vitamin D, potassium, magnesium. Those are the top things that we are deficient in. And so, the one thing that I do commend my neurologist for at Georgetown is that he's always instilled in me that I need vitamin D, and that he has my blood drawn at least, every 6 months. I go and get blood work done to make sure that I'm not deficient in vitamin D or potassium or magnesium, these things that he knows that African Americans tend to lack.
Right.
Right. And so I take an extra, 5,000 units of vitamin D every day on top of the multivitamin that I take. And he advises that's what he wants me to do.
Okay.
And that's how I keep my numbers where they should be when it comes to that. So those are things that I do, and getting enough water, drinking enough water, hydrate. We got to learn to stay away. Right. We got to learn to stay away from the sugars, the heavy starches. Our people love to eat, and we like to season up our food with the salt and all those things. And so now that I am, on track really with exercising and have my MS under control, and I say under control and I don't have an episode, every year, and things like that. At the beginning of COVID, when I talked to him about the fact that the medicines that they give us for MS, they bring down your immune system. I don't want my immune system wide open and we in the middle. That scares me, right? And so he asked me, he said, well, you've been on medication since 2008. How are you feeling? He said, because I would rather you not take it until I tell you to at this point. So I haven't had any medicine since, was it January or February of 2020 of this year, top of this year. So because of that, now did that scare me? Yes, because of course I'm like, well, what if I'm not medicated?
Right.
What could happen?
You see
Right. What if
my face right there? I'm like,
what if somebody stresses me out and sends me into an episode, right? You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna stress you out, And I said, what if, but God is good, and I have not had any problems, but I also have made sure that, I'm taking multivitamins every day. I'm taking extra vitamins every day. I am, for the most part, eating healthy every day. So I'm making sure that I'm managing a good diet, right? I'm not sitting around stuffing my face with, donuts and fried chicken and whatever every single day. I'm getting out and I'm moving, because the one thing that MS does is it wants you to stop moving. MS wants you to sit down, and you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to move. So every morning that I can get up and get out of that bed at 6:15, I'm grateful, because I can get out there and spend my 60 minutes, right? Moving. Got to keep moving. And so, you can't lay down and you can't let it take you. And the one thing that I love about the TLC products, and I will say this, one of my Kappa friends, I love the Kappas, introduced me to.
I heard you.
So You know how I feel about caramel salad. But anyway,
Mhm.
introduced me to total life changes, and I'm glad about it because, and I've introduced you to it, Shannon.
Mhm.
Where the ISO tea, I love it. It's fiber filled, but it is going to it's a deep cleanse. It's going to clean you out.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the products in depth in a moment. But let's just say
Right.
she gave me that. Yeah, you get the moving all right.
But you lost 10 pounds in a
I
week.
sure did.
You after the first 3 days, you were like, you know what, I'm good.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yes,
So
but
he's saying with diet and exercise, you're now able to manage the MS to a point where you're no longer having to be tied to the medicine and having to do that every single day, which is great because we're learning a lot about other diseases such as diabetes and the fact that if you do manage your weight and your diet and your intake, you are able to not have to be beholden to that medicine because you're able to manage it yourself. So yeah, yeah, sugar is the devil.
yes.
No, Crystal Christine, yes, pooping all day. Pooping all day. Thank you to everyone who came in. Please throw up a like, share this out if you can. This is a great conversation about boss babes, and my boss babe, Adrianne James, is here. We talked about her triumph over MS because I'm going to put that in the air, into the atmosphere, and let it happen. We're going to prevail over this. But then you discover total life changes, and talk a little bit about that process. And we talked about how you got involved, and we'll gloss over that part. But how has it changed, or has it changed your life?
Okay, so I had moved to Philly. We'll talk about that for a second. So I decided that it was a good idea to move to Philadelphia back in 2011. I'm like, I had actually been looking at, I think from the time that I got diagnosed with MS, I started looking at moving, and I wanted to go not all the way back to Boston, but I wanted to go closer to Boston, or to at least be in between Massachusetts and like maybe DC and wherever. But the cost of living here was just climbing so high that for me I was like, I need to be somewhere where I can get a whole house and not have to not have to pay $1 million for it, which basically
Exactly.
we're at $1 million condos in DC.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, this is great. It's halfway to New York. It's halfway to DC. It's not that far from Boston. It's close, right? And so I moved to Philly. So I hope there are no Philadelphians on this feed, because I don't want to insult y'all. But Philly was just not a place for me. And I'm just going to say that. And leave it. Okay. And so while there, I really wasn't as active as I am in DC, because in DC I'm active. I'm there. I mean, this is the most I've been home. So I find things that's wrong in my apartment that I didn't know was wrong because I don't live here. My things right, and so I don't live here. At the beginning of this, I was like, wait a minute, I gotta live in this place that I don't live. I don't live here. I just house things here, right?
Okay.
And so I know my neighbors. I was able to ask my neighbor next door for some milk last week. I was like, oh my God, like, who am I? Like, I know these people now, because I'm in the all the time. And so I gained weight being not mobile in Philly. I mean, I was going to work, and I would come home from work, and that was what I was doing. And so I would church on Sunday, and I would come home from church on Sunday, and then I would be back on my couch, right? And so this was, I'm picking up weight, and I should have known I was fat when my Indian coworker. So you guys, I'm an IT project manager, so I work in IT, so I work with a lot of people. The developers are from India and places like that. And so when one of my coworkers from India, who I love dearly to this day, I still keep in contact with in Philadelphia, offered me some of her low-fat Indian treats.
Girl.
Well, it's a whole different, it's a whole different culture. Like, they just gonna tell you, right? I mean, you need it in your life. You need somebody that's gonna be like, listen here, okay? Hey, what's going on?
You might want to get some of these snacks.
I want to eat some of these. So I was like, okay. So I started walking. So I was like, let me start walking to work,
Exactly.
Work,
Clearly, they're trying to tell you something.
Clearly, tell me I'm fat, And so I was trying to come back here. So I came back here. I see Claudia laughing at this. Little healthy snacks, right? And I was like, oh my God, like, what's wrong with you? And so I was trying to come back here. So I'm applying for jobs. I'm trying, I'm doing all these things at the same time. So I really wasn't focusing on it as I should. I had started walking to and from work, but I'm trying to get back into DC. So one of the things I did when I finally, in August of 2016, I took a position and I came back here. So I came back into DC in the fall of 2016. And one of the things that I know I kept telling Melinda and other people was I was definitely going to get this weight off of me, because I was like, I'm deep into my 40s. My great grandmother died of heart disease at 52. Mm-hmm. My mother was already in the beginning stages of heart disease when she was in her late 40s. My grandmother died of heart disease at 74. I was like, I cannot do this, right? This is not what I can do with myself. I cannot. And so I said, once I get settled in here and get moved in, get myself together, I got to do something. Mm-hmm. And so I started moving more. Of course, I'm not in the house, as much. I'm out. I'm in the streets. I got things to do. I got meetings to go to. I got this. I got that. So I'm moving. I'm back into society. That's what I feel. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was in society when I was in Philly. I'm sorry, y'all, but whatever. I want to talk to me behind the scenes about Philadelphia, make me feel better about it. Please do. I ain't gonna say that, but right at the time. It was not okay. So basically,
I did warn y'all we cut up, right? I did warn y'all.
We have not had wine.
She's starting to talk, and as she started to talk, I'm starting to remember the backstory behind what it is she's saying. And we're just laughing.
all the things. Listen, it was crazy. And I was like, okay, this is not okay. This is not okay. And so when I started, what I did was I joined a boot camp. So like in DC, the rec centers, they have, free exercise classes. So if you live in the District of Columbia, you're not taking advantage of the recreation centers here and some of the free things that they offer. I mean, they offer free yoga classes, Pilates classes, boot camps, at no cost to you. I mean, our tax money, we pay a lot of money in taxes here in DC. I suggest you take advantage of all the free things.
Hello.
Seriously, because you paid for it. It's really not free. You already paid for it. And so you paid for that. So I go to stuff I paid for. And so I joined a boot camp, and so that became my little family. And so, I would go there, twice a week. That meant twice a week. So I would go there twice a week. And then I started, going off on my own, 2 times a week when I wasn't with the class. And so, and it was hard. You going after work, boot camp starts at 7, you done worked all day, you leaving work. So I'm at work in the bathroom, changing into my, sneakers and my leggings and all of this so I can go down to boot camp. And when I first started, some of the people had been in the class for a few years with this instructor. I'm slower than them. I'm not as fast as them. And I couldn't let that, stop me. I was like, okay, I might not be as fast as them. I might not be able to do as many push-ups as them as whatever, but I'm going to get there. And I did get there. Like, I could keep up with everybody. And I was one of the people, when a new person came in, motivating them. Okay, I know, girl, you can only do 5. It's okay. Just do 5 and just, I know. I know he over there yelling, girl, but he's all mouth. He's not gonna actually come over here and make you do 10. Just go ahead and do 5. Because we don't let Sherman bully us. We just don't. And so at the end of the day, I had to do the things that I had to do in order to lose the weight. Now, you know that, the closer we get to 50, the harder it is to lose the weight, right? We know this.
Right.
We know
that part.
There's that part. The weight don't want to come off. And so
it's like, you mean you gotta go? We done built a house here. We done set up.
Girl,
we have children. What do you mean you gotta go?
Exactly. And so, but I mean, I have made good progress. I do intermittent fasting. So I do 16/8. So, I will fast, I cut off my eating at 8:00 at night. I don't start eating again until noon the next day. I'm making sure that, I'm counting the calories. So if I know if I'm only doing, 1,300 calories this week, right, every day, then I gotta make sure I'm paying attention to how many calories is in what I'm having when I break the fast at 12 o'clock. And then when I have, if I have an afternoon snack, how many calories is that? And how many calories is dinner, and things like that. So, and then making sure I'm getting enough water. Where the TLC products have come in handy is that I was losing weight everywhere except for the belly. So I had lost a few inches around the belly, but you know how hard it is to get rid of belly fat. You really got to be working to get rid of the belly fat. And so, I was like, my thighs are getting smaller, my legs are getting smaller, like everything, you can see in my face. My face is thinner because you can go back and look at my pictures on Facebook and see, my face, right. And so I knew I needed to do.
But that's me too.
Right. Because I can see, I was like, Shannon's face is slim. Right, exactly. And so it's the same thing. And so the one thing I like about TLC is that, I don't like if they had pushed a product on me that told me that I didn't have to exercise, then I would have been like, get on the gong now, because that's not healthy. To me, that's not healthy. If you're not telling people that they need to exercise and eat, green leafy vegetables and, get good protein and, things like that, then get away from me, because I don't want to talk to you. And tell me I don't need to go through that 4-mile walk, because I actually do need to do that 4-mile walk, and I do need to do strength training, which I do, because you need to do that, especially our age. Strength training is important. It's necessary.
Exactly.
To continue to build muscle, because our bones will start to deteriorate and become brittle, and we do not want that. And that is what lack of vitamin D and things like that also cause. So the one good thing about that is that you can incorporate it into what you're already doing. So if you're doing keto, you can incorporate TLC products in it, because TLC products are just, the NutriVerse is basically a multivitamin. It is a multivitamin. It's a multivitamin with like 72 different nutrients in it. I mean, it's not going to stop you from doing your keto, because you should be taking a multivitamin anyway.
Right.
If you are not, that is a problem. It's kind of like, BrownGirlBella, you do makeup and skincare. And so, not taking a multivitamin is like not washing your face twice a day. But, we talk about that when we go into our makeup bags later. But anyway, because me, somebody told me they're washing their face twice a day. My eyebrows raises. I'm just like, oh,
girl,
it's dirty, girl. At least twice.
And I'm gonna need some double cleansing in here too, ladies. Double cleansing going on.
Double cleansing. And so it's I take that as the same way. If you're not taking a multivitamin, you should, a grown person, you should be taking a multivitamin.
Absolutely.
You should be doing that. That's absolute. The other thing that I incorporated outside of the NutriVerse was the tea, because you do need to detox.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was I started to lose those inches around the belly that was stubborn, that I found that wasn't going anywhere, it just wasn't moving. I started to see a difference. And
Mm-hmm.
it was because I'm cleansing the intestines. I'm cleaning out. I'm
Right.
cleaning out. You know, this is stuff that's not moving, it's just sitting there. And you have to cleanse. You have
Right.
to cleanse. It's important. And I noticed that when I started to cleanse, skin was clear. I mean, I had people walking up to me, they're like, "What are you doing to your skin that's different now?" I'm like, "Nothing. That's cleanse. This cleanse, cleanse,
But
water."
this is what we talk about, ladies, from the inside out. So if your insides are beautiful, it's clear, everything is moving the way it's supposed to, it's going to show on the outside as well. So you've got to take care of yourself from the inside out.
Yep, it's gotta happen. And so I started, doing that, and I started taking. I think I take energy vitamins now. So I take, it's called NRG. I take those, and I will say that has been wonderful for me.
Oh.
Those are filled with potassium and magnesium, and so I didn't realize that the magnesium, because I had been getting some swelling around the ankle. Because, like I said, I come from a family of heart
Mm-hmm.
disease, high blood pressure.
And we definitely have to shake our family tree. Fun fact, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, her maiden name is James. Her family comes from the South. My family comes from the South. I am quite sure the way we act.
And from South Carolina, to be specific.
Exactly. To be specific.
And then,
we shake that tree, we gonna fall out and be like, "Girl, I knew it."
Because there's only 2 sets of James in something South Carolina, so we already know there's only 2 sets. There's only 2 sets,
and I'm quite sure they intermingled.
Oh, they did. They did. They definitely did.
Crystal said the tea don't like her. It had her up at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah.
Well, see, now let me talk to you about how you should take the tea. So let's talk about the tea. Let's talk about it, because I had to learn some lessons with the tea.
Welcome.
I had to learn some good lessons with the tea as well.
Okay.
And so the brewed tea, because there's the brewed tea and then there's the instant tea. So the brewed tea, you brew it. You take the 2 packs and you brew the tea, and there's a specific way you got to do it. You brew the tea, and you let it sit for 8 hours. And then I think you start off with like 3 quarts of water or 4 quarts of water. You let that sit for 8 hours, and then you add another 4 quarts of water or 6 quarts of water, something like that, to get to a gallon, whatever it takes you to get to a gallon. And so, but you leave the tea bags in, you don't take them out. And so you fill it up, and now you have the tea. And so that's the brewed tea, and that lasts you for a week. So that'll last you straight 7 days. It's a gallon. It makes a gallon. And so what you do is what you're supposed to do with the tea is, let's say, like I said, I do 16/8 fasting. So my first meal is gonna be at noon every day. So that's what time I eat. So at 11, I will drink 8 ounces of tea, because I know I'm eating at 12. I don't drink the tea with lunch. I drink the tea at 11.
Okay.
Then I eat. Now, if you're just starting out and you've never had the tea before, you're going to get a reaction almost immediately after drinking the tea, probably within the hour, or probably at least within half an hour after you eat something, right? That's going to happen. Yeah. So you have to expect that that's going to happen the first week. Now, going into your second week, that's not going to, you're going to...
Yeah, it wasn't as bad the second week. It wasn't.
Okay. You're going to level out.
You are going to level out, but that first...
Oh, it's gonna clean you out. It's gonna, that first week, it's like, oh, look at all this bad stuff. It's coming. No. Right here, it's coming for you. And so
wait, since August, and she's learned she's lost 32 pounds and counting. That is amazing.
Intermittent fasting is the business. I tell people, I'm like, if you are not doing it, you are doing yourself an injustice. I mean, seriously, it is, and it also helps with maintaining. So when you get to a point where you're like, this is a good weight for me. This is where I'm at my goal weight. It's great for being able to stay on track and stay and keeping yourself leveled at that weight. I can tell you right now. But yeah, that tea, you do that at lunch, you do the same thing for dinner. So if you eat dinner at 6, you're gonna drink some tea at 5, 8 ounces, 5 o'clock. So now the one thing about the brewed is you would drink 8 ounces an hour or half an hour before lunch, 8 ounces hour or half an hour before dinner, but you would drink another 4 ounces in the evening as a snack. Now I get busy. I don't know about y'all. And once the end of the day comes, after I work the job that actually gives me a consistent paycheck, that's when I start doing all my other stuff, right? So I start doing, the tea. I start talking to people on my team with TLC. I get on conference calls, Zoom calls for TLC. Then I also have Alpha. I'm in a grad chapter, so I'm like, I got to get on committee calls, right? I got committee calls. I got junior league committee calls. So I have something just about every night I'm on the phone, and so I'm gonna forget to drink 4 ounces of tea. So that's where the instant tea comes in handy. Instant tea, I can just drop that breeze. Hour before lunch, like I did today. Half an hour before lunch, did it. It's half an hour before dinner. Drop it in again. Do it. It's done. I've had 2 hours of tea. I'm finished. And so I do that. Now with the instant tea, I'll do tea for 5 days straight, and I'll take 2 days off to give myself a rest. So I'll do tea Monday through Friday, no tea on Saturday and Sunday. Doesn't mean on Saturday and Sunday I'm going out and eating cheeseburgers, guys. Right. It just means that I'm just not doing tea Monday through Friday. I mean, on Saturday and Sunday, I'm doing it Monday through Friday. So I'm still going to go and get some kind of exercise on Saturday and Sunday. I'll still get up and do 4 miles of walking on Saturday. Do 4 miles of walking on Sunday. Sometimes I'll skip a day. Sometimes I'm gonna do it on Saturday. I'll sleep in, give myself a break, and I'll do it on Sunday morning or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'll go to brunch. Now, BrownGirlBella knows brunch is my thing, okay? Girl, need to take away my brunch. So brunch is my thing. Brunch is my thing. So I know that when I want to go to brunch, I know how to adjust myself. So I tell people, don't rob yourself and try to just go 100% all the time, because then you're gonna binge and you're gonna eat a whole bunch of stuff and you're gonna feel bad afterwards. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I ate all day because I deny myself all the time and never let myself have anything, and I deny myself everything and I just ate all day, right? You don't want to do that to yourself. Don't ever do that to yourself. You need to stick to the 80-20 rule, which is what I stick to. I know my schedule. Like, I know that, Alex lives in this building. Alex is downstairs. Yes. Alex was up here yesterday at my door. And so very excited about some sort of dining out that's happening in DC that I didn't know about.
That's her friend, y'all. Yes. I don't know.
And so he wants to go to RPM on Friday. So now I know if I'm gonna go to RPM on Friday, I'm probably gonna do 24-hour fast on Friday. So I'm probably going to not eat. I'm not gonna do 16-8. I'm probably gonna fast all day Friday. Because if I'm gonna go with him to RPM, then that's gonna be my one meal that I'm gonna have. It's gonna be at RPM. And because I know that that's where I'm going to use up my calories, and that's just the decision that I'm going to make, is that I'm going to fast all day. Right. So I have to be on, water, green tea, black coffee, whatever, all day long until it's time for us to go eat. Right. So, and that's usually how I do it. So I don't deny myself. I'm not going to tell Alex, oh no, I can't go to RPM because I can't eat anything there and blah 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 and all this other crap. I'm not doing that, because if you deny yourself, you're going to binge eat, and that's not helpful. So you don't want to do that. You just don't.
Absolutely. So I love the TLC products. Like I said, Adrianne sent me a kit, and I started off with the tea and the liquid multivitamins. And I have to say, the first couple of days, I was like holding my stomach, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. But once I got through it and it went through me, it actually was easy for me to take it, because I knew that, one, I was going to have a small meal, and my meal would be like salads or green leafy vegetables and lean protein. Like, I trained myself to eat right because I knew that I was going to, be detoxifying myself. So that's one of the things that, you really need to get in the right mindset. If you know this is what you want to do for your health and you really want to take charge of it, then you're not going to, drink alcohol. I didn't have my wine. And Adrianne will tell you, we wine girls.
We are winos.
We know vixens. We love our wine.
We are winos.
Okay. So, for us not to have wine at some point in a week or a week and a half, 2 weeks, we're like, dang, like what's going on? But you will see the pounds fly off because you're being cognizant of your water intake, your meal intake, what you're putting in your mouth. And again, it's just like makeup. What you're putting on your face, what you're putting in your body is going to come out in your skin. So if you're putting bad things in your body, bad things will happen to your skin. But if you put good things in your body, good things will come to your skin. So, that's why, a lot of people, and myself included, will always say, yeah, you knew she was going to say wine. Here go my line sister. She's steady calling us winos. We are
winos. That we are some winos. You remember that birthday gift that I'm the only person that will take BrownGirlBella. I bought tickets to this wine event in New York. This is when I was still living in Philly. And so I floated into New York and met up with her so we could go to this wine event. And this, you just go and you just taste all these wines and you just going through the place just drinking for like 3 hours. It was like 3-4 hours. And everyone, Darius had to come in.
We was like, I think he either called me or called you. Like, yeah, let me go get these wine.
Let me go get. It was insane. It was a good.
No, we had so much fun when we were together. We're definitely like fruit and frat. But getting back to the TLC, so I've tried the multivitamin. I've tried the instant tea. What other products do they have?
And the resolution drop.
Oh,
the lipo in the bottle. And so I wasn't doing the resolution drops and started like maybe a month ago doing them, maybe like 3 weeks ago. Okay. And I can tell you this, I will do resolution drops in the morning. After I come out the shower, I come back from the walk and I shower and I'm like going to get because I usually will get my cold brew from the Starbucks and I'll put it in the refrigerator so it stay cold. So I'll go get that and go get some water so I can take my vitamins, right? And so I'll go ahead and do like some resolution drops. And I can tell you right now, resolution drops keep your appetite at bay. When I say, when you get ready to eat something, girl, you can go pile your plate up thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat that. No, you're not.
Oh wow. That's the one I told you I need to get, right?
Yes. It is. Oh my God.
I just found that picture of us at that wine thing somewhere around here. That's why I was looking to see if I could find it.
I saw it one day too when I needed to pull it out. It was funny. I think we looked drunk in the picture. But yeah. It was terrible. It was terrible. for Claudia. You missed it. You should have been with us. Claudia would have left us. She would left.
She would have left us. She definitely would have left us.
Not.
She definitely would have left us. She'd have been like, nah.
Time for me to go.
One of them.
Oh yeah, this is right there with that random girl.
This random. We don't know who she is. She was just like, can I come up in your picture?
And you let her. You was like, come on. And I was like, we don't know this person. And you were like, come on. I'm like, oh my God.
We don't know her. She's like, Shannon, we don't know her. I'm like,
and you were like, all right. I was like, you know what? That's when I knew. I was like, we can get out of here. Go get Shannon some coffee. And like random people to the party.
A mess. But that's how we are, right?
So yeah, there. That's like the lipo in the bottom. And I think the newest thing that I've tried, because TLC has OP products, and so the newest thing that I've tried this week was because going into this year 50 and the sleep pattern, and so
talk about it.
I was taking melatonin. And I heard somebody on one of our calls talk about the Harmony drops and how they was taking these Harmony drops. So, TLC has all these CBD products. I like that CBD tea. That CBD tea gets you calm, get your anxiety down. Mm-hmm. Oh. So the Harmony drops are CBD drops. I didn't realize that, and so I heard somebody saying something about something. I said, maybe I should try some Harmony drops. So I took a Harmony drops last night, girl. Let me tell you something. I was out. And I'm usually up. Because I'll be up. I could be up on the phone talking to Charmaine. She's in Singapore. I'll be up talking to her, texting back and forth. Mm-hmm. I was out. I woke up this morning. I was like, wait a minute. I said, you not get up in the middle of the night like you normally do.
Oh, wow. Well, I need those.
Harmony, right. You get
my order together. What? Oh my gosh. So guys, if you are interested in doing TLC and any of the products, like I said before, Adrianne is a director, and she says that I had left her link in the description box below. I can testify for the products that I have tried, and I'm telling you, they work. I lost 10 pounds the first week, and then I consistently lost like 3-4 pounds a week. And even though I'm not taking them regularly now, I've still maintained the same weight. So even without taking the products, I still was able to manage my same weight. Haven't lost any more, but I haven't gained any more either. Like I fluctuate within a 3-pound range. So that to me is a definite win. Because, what you don't want to do going into this new fall season and the fact that, we're going to be indoors for the foreseeable future, you don't want to add those pounds on now that we are going to be home and the weather is going to be chillier and it's not going to be more feasible for you to go out and exercise because the weather is going to get inclement. So really, start doing it now. Take control of your health. She has the weekly calls and, we can definitely talk you through how to help yourself and kind of manage where it is you want to go and what your goals are and how best to achieve them. So definitely want to give a kudos to Adrianne for turning me onto it. And, if you want any of those products, like I said, it's in the description box below. Definitely give it a try. Definitely, reach out to Adrianne, talk about what kind of weight loss goals you want to achieve, and then she can direct you on how best to do that.
Yep, and reach out to me if you want samples because I can make sure that you can get some samples. We have, if you go to my site, you can see where you can, I think the link is samples and you can go and you can see the samples, but reach out to me if you want samples. I can talk to you about, which samples you should try first and things like that. So
Absolutely. So now, we're going to move into the part that I love, the girl talk. So Adrianne, besides being an all-around fly chick and my heart and soul, my road dog, she is also my beauty compass. She is the one that's like, oh, you want to get that? Oh, let me try this. Oh, you want to get that? Did you try this makeup? Or did you try that? That's my girl right there. So we and her share a kindred spirit on all the latest and greatest makeup. So I told her when she came on that she definitely had to bring her makeup bag. So Adrianne, what's in your makeup bag?
I brought a small version of the bag. This is the small version of the bag.
Right.
Bring out the box. So Brown Girl Bella knows that I'm really into Riri and her products, and so I really have a bag full of Riri. So I mean, I carry her everywhere I go. I took her to Cleveland with me over the weekend when I went to Cleveland. So what's not in this bag right now, and is in my other box, is the foundation that I use. Is the Fenty foundation in 420. So I do that. I go back and forth between 420 and 410 because I noticed that Rihanna's foundation, even though it does set. So the thing about her foundation is that I think you all you fellas know this. Her foundation sets. And so it changes. And so my skin tends to change between the different seasons. So now once we going into this cold season, I'll get a little bit lighter. My tan will go away. I spent a lot of time outdoors walking this summer, so I darkened up. So then I'll go for 20. I'll probably have to start going for 10 by like December. So maybe November. So I go back and forth. I do use her primer because I find that using her primer with her foundation is best. I don't know if anybody else has found that out with using her foundation. I've used other primers under her foundation and did not work as well for me. I don't know whether I'm the only one with that problem or other people have that issue, but I noticed that her foundation likes her primer. So I do use her primer as the primer.
Okay.
I also use her primer on the lids, so that is also in this bag.
Okay.
I do that. Now I will say that sometimes I cheat because now that she's come out with her cheeks out and her creams, I do sometimes cheat because I work a job where everybody's on Zoom, you all, and they get on there and they actually put on clothes. These people get dressed, like they get up in the morning and they actually I mean, I shower and everything. I'm clean, like, even I'm in the house. But in my dry clean only in my house, these people get up and they get dressed, honey. And the girls, they put on makeup. They put on a full face, and they will not turn the cameras on until they have on a full face. I can tell you that right now. And so how I cheat them with my so-called full face, and this is, I thank God, and Grandma, praise her for her beauty and her beautiful skin that I inherited. God bless her soul and rest. May she continue to rest well. I will take this cream. This is
which one do you have?
Cheeks Out in Teddy.
Okay.
And
because I
you have
behind that.
I
I thought I would get chocolate. It's way too dark.
But I think I need chocolate.
That's what I'm saying. I need to switch because this chocolate is way too dark.
Oh, then I'm not getting that because you and I have the same foundation. So no, nuh-uh. I'm not getting that. So yeah, so okay. So that means I need to stay with this.
Yeah, you need to talk with Teddy,
and that's what you need to get. Okay. So I use this. So I will put this on, and I will do here, around here, maybe some here, and I'll blend that in. So that's gonna make it look like I got on a little something that maybe And what I also do is I use her other some of her other cheeks out, like the foils, and I'll dab that on so it look, to put on some for the eyeshadow.
Right.
that. And so this is one that I have, and this is Summertime Wine. And so sometimes I'll use Summertime Wine. And you can use this on the cheeks and the eyelid. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And
Okay.
so I've done that before, and so that's going away with that. And I also like her palette number 1 in shadows, because, and I'm actually wearing palette number 1 right now. This is really a good neutral, guys. I love the neutrals in palette number 1 because it's, it's for daytime. It's for Zoom meetings with, your coworkers, right? So I don't look like I'm getting ready to go swing on poles at the Pank, right? Right. Because y'all know what I'm talking about when I say the Pank. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know which show I'm talking about. So sometimes we want to look like, we want to be calm. So I use that, and I also use for my concealer, I do not use Riri. I actually use Makeup Forever Ultra HD.
Okay.
Because it does not crease.
Nope, it doesn't.
Right. And I have to have things that don't crease. And so there we go. And so ladies, I know we don't like to talk about age, and I don't want to call us old ladies, because we are
seasoned bellas.
Okay?
We are not old.
We are not old, but we need concealer that does not crease. Okay.
Yes.
And I want you all to know and understand that, please and thank you, because I hate to see people my age and that it's all up under here and it's just creased, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening with your concealer? And so, and I know that Brown Girl Bella has taught you this. Your concealer starts here. That brush swings down here. Don't have it all the way up here when you first go to put it on. Don't do that. Don't go here. It's here, okay? Right here. And then you blend that boy up. You blend it up. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, so I can always tell when it didn't go that way. So, sometimes I judge. I try not to be judgmental. But anyway, that's what happened. So, listen, try not to judge. I try not to judge, but sometimes it's hard. So, I also use Riri's fly liner. I think it's one of the best things that she's ever made. I like her fly liner. I like it better than you. I do. You do not. Okay. It does not run, and I sweat. And that's what I like about it. I'm always hot. This does not run. I can't have it running down my face. Okay. And so, and I do like her colorful eye pencils that she's come out with lately. Yes. These are really good. Okay. This lasts all day. This is one of this. I think this is a green. This is like the greenish looking one. I can't remember the exact color of this.
What I want to get. I want to get a green. I want to get the blue.
Yes, because you can use this as a liner, above the lid, and an eyeliner. Okay. You can use it for both, which is what I like about this. You can use this for both. I do use her setting powder because I have that. I love her setting. I love her setting powder.
I have cashew, and this one is honey.
Okay. I have cashew. So you have honey. Let's see.
And then I use cashew for underneath the eyes.
Okay. What's happening?
I don't know. I hear a feedback.
Okay. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I hear something.
What it is. Is it going away?
No. It's like a feedback. Uh-oh. We lost Adrianne for a second. Hopefully she will be right back. We were going through what is in her makeup bag, and then we got some kind of feedback. So I think she went off to try to fix that. Hi, Deanna. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. This has been a great conversation with Adrianne. We talked about MS, how she first got diagnosed. We talked about her journey as a TLC director and the products that we use. And now we're just wrapping up and doing the chit chat. So I'm just waiting for her to fix the feedback on her end so she can come back to the conversation. But if anyone has any questions for Adrianne about TLC, about MS, about anything, please throw it into the chat and we can address it when she comes back. I want to thank you guys for rocking with me throughout this hour and 24 minutes we've been on. You guys have been great. I think I got 25 thumbs up, 3 thumbs down. Not a problem. We're going to keep rocking and rolling because that's what we do, guys. Thank you so much for, okay, here she comes back up. Thank you so much for joining us for the Boss Babe segment. And here is Adrianne again.
Okay, y'all. My technology is failing over here. Okay.
Sounds like the feedback is better.
Better. Yes. Okay. So I do use her setting. I use this in Cashew. This is
Okay.
Cashew. And so I do use this. This is good. I like this. I like her setting. I can use this pretty much for it'll hold all day. This keeps me in place all day. So that's what I like about it. And so that's what's in the bag right now. Oh, the other thing that's in the bag is I do not spend a ton of money on mascara. This is my go-to. This is my fave. I take it everywhere. I probably got like
I think that was the first mascara I ever put on.
I use it all the
colors are fantastic, aren't they?
Use it all the time. Use it all the time. Me and Taraji.
The colors are just fantastic on that packaging, aren't they?
Yeah, me and Taraji P. Henson. This is our thing.
Okay.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's kind of like that's my quickie. That's my morning routine. Because you know I'm with this group that likes to just do stuff. So like on the lips, I'll do like right now on the lips I have it's over there. So I use I'll still use like a MAC pencil around, and then I'll use either a Pat McGrath lip color. Or one of Riri's new colors I'll use, and then I'll put a little bit of her gloss bomb over it. So that's my go-tos for my Zoom meeting calls and during the day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions again for Adrianne about MS, about TLC, about makeup, skincare, throw it in the chat now. I will have her answer a few questions if we get any. And then we will wrap up this segment of Boss Babes. I thank you all for hanging out with us. Like I said, we could talk all day. We'll probably talk after you guys are off the air and just cut up. She is really like, if they look at best friend, that's my best friend right there. That's my best friend right there. She and I have been through it all together. We are sorority sisters, and we're gonna be 25 in next year.
Yes.
96.
25. We need to roll to the end so we can get our party on.
I wish Roro would go home now. She has outlived her welcome. Ro needs to go. Ro needs to go because we about to turn 25. We've been cutting up for this for years. I got my dress sitting right there in the closet. I'm ready.
We need to be in the streets.
We need to be in the streets.
We need to be in the streets. Need to be in the streets. Yes, we do.
I don't understand. Sans, they had me eat that doggone. Oh, here's a question.
Onion, did you do the challenge?
Huh? Yes, I did do that stupid onion challenge. I ate one. No, I ate two.
Oh
I
God,
ate
no.
the first time, and it didn't go well.
Oh God.
And then I lost that footage because I didn't put the camera on record because I was so angst ridden. Then I recorded again, ate it again, and almost the same exact thing happened. I was like, I got to cut this off. It's a pound fail. I can't do it. I can't do it. Because, we did that in 96. And since then,
Nobody wants to eat like clean again.
it ain't been right. It ain't been right.
Nobody wants to eat that again. We think that
it ain't been right.
I had 8 lines. You only had to do that with one person. I had 8 lines.
Right. About that.
Okay.
About that. So we got a question. What do they know what causes MS?
They really don't. I think that, a lot of the research that they've done over the years, it looks like hereditary. So the first thing that my doctor I know asked me about was other people in the family, and that I know the family history for other people. Now, I will say that it took us a while to kind of figure out which side it was on, because I think originally my mother always puts everything on my father's side of the family, so it was right, exactly.
Got it.
Your mother and my mother are like twins. I'm telling you, I think they have to be related in some way. And so, of course, it couldn't be on her side. And so she basically said that it had to be on my dad's side, and that because his mother died when she died young. So I think she was in her 30s when she died. Oh, wow. And they didn't know what was, she died. She got sick and died. Didn't really know what was wrong with her. And so she tried to assume that it had to have been her. But we've since learned that it has to be on my mother's side, because one of my younger cousins in South Carolina, about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, called me up, and she was diagnosed with MS, and she has like at least 10 or 12 lesions on the brain. And it took them a long time to diagnose her. She was having these terrible, what they thought were migraine headaches. And come to find out, all these years they had her going in for migraines. No one had ever done an MRI on her. And she went to a doctor, a neurologist who specialized in MS. She didn't know that. She just went to a different doctor for her migraines, and he sent her to MRI. Wow. And to find out all this time, these horrible headaches that she was getting, these debilitating headaches, it was MS. And so she's on my mother's side. That's one of my mother's cousins' children, right? And so, of course, I called my mother and I was like, okay, so it's on your side. It's right. Stop it. It's on your side. Right. I'm like, so,
thank you, divine wisdom. Thank you, Christine. Have a great night as well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, because MS is, an autoimmune disease, it takes so many different forms. So, the fact that you're talking about migraines now, that I need to go, do a checkup on that, because I suffer from migraines as well, as you know. And certain types of, diabetes, when you got diabetes, they're saying, because both my grandmother and my mom had diabetes in their late 40s. Right. I, knock on wood, have not developed it.
Right, neither have I.
But again, that's something, to look at. Heart disease on my mother's side again, on my father's side as well. That's another thing you should look at. So there are a lot of things. The thing I can say, in your case, in Michelle's case, is that both of you were your own health advocates. And if I can't stress enough to you all to really be your own health advocates, know your body, know when something is just not right. If it feels wrong, if it feels out of place, go and get it checked. I know we're living in different times now, so a lot of doctors want to do this virtual meet and diagnose or whatever. But if you feel like this is something that's out of the norm for your body, go make that appointment and demand that it be in person. Demand that they see you. Be your own health advocate. DOD has another question. What are some of the side effects from the medication?
So that depends. So that's the thing about MS is that they have all these different medicines that they prescribe to people. So like when I got diagnosed back in 2008, I had my choice of, there were no pills, it was all shots. And so depending on which one of the shots they prescribed to you, they all had kind of like these different sets of side effects. I was on Avonex shots, which the side effects, one of the major side effects from Avonex shots are when you take the shot that night or whatever. It's best to take it at night because you get kind of like these flu-like symptoms, like for 24 hours or so afterwards after taking it. So think about every week taking something that is going to give you flu-like symptoms.
Right.
So, and you kind of level out after taking it for 6 months or so. I leveled out, but I never leveled out on was and if I didn't take an Aleve or some kind of pain reliever right after taking the shot, I would get like my muscles would tense up at night, like, and it would hurt so bad. And that was one of the symptoms that never went away from me. I always had that. So I would always have to take something when I took the shot so that I wouldn't wake up in the middle of the night with maybe a low grade fever, and like this muscle spasms, like tensing up like at night. Like it was crazy. So the only way to prevent that from happening was to take an Advil or an Aleve or something right after taking the shot. So that was the side effects from the Avonex. I hadn't tried any of the other shots, so I can't really tell you what the side effects are for those. I was on Avonex from 2018, from 2008 all the way up until the beginning of this year when he told me to lay off because of the virus and because of the fact that Avonex shots, the one other big drawback to taking those is that it does kind of
suppress
your immune system. And so he didn't want that happening in this virus time. And so I think that he was kind of going through his patients who were doing pretty well. Of course, he wouldn't tell one of his patients who's has progressive MS, who has issues like every other week or every month is having some sort of relapse. He's not going to tell them, no, take your medicine. He's just going to tell them, you can't go outside.
Right.
you can't go outside.
Exactly.
You have to stay in the house. So they're probably in a bubble somewhere because they have to take the medicine. They cannot not take their medicine. But I was in a good enough position, thankfully, where I didn't have to take my medicine. And so he was allowing me to not do that. Now, going back probably this fall, because I usually see my doctor twice a year, so I can go 6 months without seeing him, which is a good thing. Yes. Have to go every month. I don't have to go every month. I go every 6 months. So he will probably talk about either going back to Avonex injections or trying. He wants me to try one of the pills. There's one of the pills that the side effects, I read it online. It's hair loss. Girl, no. I wish I would. So that's out.
Right.
So then the other one is called Tecfidera, and that one I think you take it twice a day, and that one had minimal side effects that I read. It was, I think one of them is it could cause some headaches or something like that, or stomach problems. Like you could have, it could cause nausea. So, and that if it caused too much nausea, then, I would have to come back to him. And all of the medications for MS, they draw your blood regularly, like every 6 months or so, they're going to draw your blood to make sure that the medicines aren't damaging your liver or anything like that. So they're checking for stuff like that.
The other question is, the night it happened, how were you feeling that day? Did you go to bed feeling normal and just wake up with what was happening?
went to bed feeling, I think I remember going to bed feeling pretty normal. I think I was stressed out during that time. Now, the one thing I can say about MS is MS does not like stress, does not like high stress, does not like it at all. So that's the one thing that is kind of pretty normal from person to person. So everybody's MS is different, but it's also the same when it comes to stress. And that's the one thing that we all have in common. And so that you don't want to have to stress yourself out. And I was stressed out. I had moved into an apartment building where I literally just started working a new job. That was one thing. And I had literally just moved into an apartment building where I had the neighbor from hell. I think you remember this. The girl that was next door to me whose boyfriend was beating her like every night. Okay. Them. And so they either loved each other or they hated each other. And
yes.
All night long.
Noise either way, because when they loved each other, it was a lot of love.
It was a lot of love. And they stayed up all night blasting their television. I think that for the first 3 months that I lived in that apartment, I did not sleep. Remember that? I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I wasn't sleeping. I was stressed out. I wasn't sleeping. I don't know I got MS, right? And so I'm all these things are happening. And they finally got me out because one of our lawyers with her A-type personality, I think contacted the office on my behalf. And I don't know what she said to them. All I know is in the middle of the day, I got a phone call that said that they was moving me into another apartment and that they were giving out free TVs as part of the move-in specials, and I was getting one too. So I don't know what she said to them. That girl, you know how we are. You know how we are. I don't know what she said to those people, but whatever it was good. Right. And so they were moving me out, so I had to move my things out of this one apartment into the other apartment. And I remember doing most of that myself. And I had a friend come and help me move some of the heavier furniture, but I moved everything myself. And so I had literally the day before I had that episode, I had done that. And so I was stressed out that week. I was moving from one apartment to the other. I was doing heavy lifting. And I remember being very tired. And the one thing that I do remember that night before when I went to bed was that I was a little shaky. And I experienced some dizziness that day, and I didn't know where it was coming from. But I just went ahead and I went to bed thinking you're exhausted, you're stressed out, you haven't been sleeping, you haven't slept in 3 months, you've been living next door to this crazy girl for 3 months, and you haven't slept, and you just need to sleep. And so, and then it was that night that I had the episode.
Wow. So yeah, stress again is a factor. Listening to your body and understanding, like, if something doesn't feel right, go check it out, do your investigative work, and be an advocate for yourself and for your own health. Any other questions for Adrianne? I'll give it a few minutes because sometimes there's a lag on StreamYard. I want to make sure we got everything. But this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much, Sandy.
Yes. I'm thankful and grateful for you and your friendship, all these years, 24 years, 24 years, girls. I think I met you like, what was my second year or something like that? 24 years, girl. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a long time. But thank you all for having me.
DOD says you look very good. He has a friend that has MS.
Oh, thank you. And I'm prayers for your friend. I hope that your friend is doing okay. Yeah. It can be hard. Do women
women get it more often do women get it more than men?
Yes. I think in some research that I saw, it was more women than men. Men, the one thing that I read when I was doing research early on was that it affects men. Men have a harder time.
Oh, wow.
when they, yes, now that was interesting to me to see that men kind of deteriorate a little bit faster and struggle a little bit more than women, which is interesting. I will say that when you look at women of color, people of color with the autoimmune diseases, we tend to struggle more than people that are not of color, right? So so that's one thing. That's a problem. And a lot of it is because what I spoke of earlier, like I know that when I first started getting, treated for MS and they started doing blood work, because they're gonna do all kind of blood work. They're gonna test you everything, they'll test you for HIV, test you for all kind of stuff, because they gotta rule out everything else to get to make sure that that's what they want to focus on, right? So they're gonna rule out everything else first. And so while they were doing that, and they're testing for vitamin deficiency, so they're doing that too. So they're also testing for, what are you low in? What do you not have, right? And so I had my vitamin D levels was like nightmarishly low.
Wow.
And when you look at, what happens when your body lacks vitamin D, the list is this long. I mean, you're always tired. You're I was complaining about, when I walked, it hurt. Lack of vitamin D. Right, exactly. I mean, there's so many things that happen when you're lacking, there's essential.
And you don't think about, what that vitamin actually does for you, but it does so much for you.
Right.
You really need it. You need that, you need potassium. All of that is tied together. I heard a comment in the chat a little while ago. I think it was Crystal who said it, that it's a Caucasian disease. Explain that a little bit, because I've heard a lot of people talk about that. I don't know if you know that, or why
people say that it's a Caucasian disease. But it affects us differently. And so it may be a Caucasian disease, and I don't know. Like I have yet to do ancestry, so I don't know how much Caucasian I have down the line. I'm sure there is some, because my father was like him, much lighter than me.
Right.
I can tell that there's some Caucasian over there, right? I just don't know how much.
Right.
And so I'm sure there is some. I just don't know how much, right? And so there's that part. But I would say that as with when you look at even like the cancers, because of our genetic makeup, things affect us differently. So that's what doctors are even finding with the virus, with COVID, is that COVID is affecting people of color differently. Right?
Yeah.
These different ways to treat people of color,
right?
Then they would treat other people, because it's affected us differently. Absolutely. And some of the reasons is because we have a lot of underlying issues that, like the heart diseases, the diabetes, and things like that.
Our diet is definitely
different, right? And so then there's that part. I think I saw the question from DOD was like, what is the average age that people get? So it's usually, they say, the late 30s, like 40s to 50 or something like that, that people get MS. But I was 35, right? So I was 35. And there are also teenagers. I've gone to MS events where I've met teenagers with MS.
Wow.
I've met 17-year-olds with MS. And so, that's when you look at the age,
it can run all over. Thank you so much, Jen Vlogs. Said I'm pretty. Thank you so much. I mean, that floored me just now. Like 17-year-olds with MS.
17. And so when you look at, normally, when I read that the normal age of onset is like 50. So when you look at like Michelle Obama, so like her dad had MS, right?
Right.
Michelle's over 50 now. Michelle seems fine. But MS can skip a generation and go to one of her daughters, right? Right. So that's the other part of it. And then, you know, them not really knowing how the autoimmune diseases come together.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are kind of thinking that Black women are more susceptible because, you know, we put chemicals in our hair. We're putting a lot of chemicals in our hair
Mhm.
and things like that. But that's just there's some research that's been done on that, but we can't say that that's absolute truth.
Right.
I do think that that's where our fibroids come from. I think that's where.
And that's going to be another topic because I'm telling you,
Right. Oh, girl.
to deal with that.
Right, right, right. So that's
Oh
like a
my
whole
God.
other thing, right?
Yes. All right. Any other questions? Welcome, Jim Vlogs, and everybody else who came in. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you know someone with MS, I'm going to update the description box. I'm going to put some resources in the description box for you. If you or someone you know has MS, I want to make sure that you have the resources that you need at your fingertips to get the help that you need to be your own health advocate. I also left Adrianne's contact information for TLC in the description box. And of course, always, I'm going to put my usual Shop with Shannon links in, what's on my face, what I put on today, in case you want to shop with Shannon and, you know, get something for yourself. We now have BrownGirlBella merch, so don't forget to go and get some BrownGirlBella merch as well. Oh, let me model for you my latest. Sans, I'm gonna have to send you one.
Ooh,
Get Bella
yes, yes.
So of course, you know, we gotta hook you up with some swag out there in DC so you can represent.
Yes.
But thank you everybody for coming. Thank you so much for this conversation. Like I said, when I said I was going to do this, I was like, oh, yep, I'm having Adrianne come on because we could kiki all day. And as you can see, this has been my longest live in a while. This is almost 2 hours. And it feels like we just got on 15 minutes ago. Because that's how much we can like entertain ourselves. Like, you're great, you know, everybody in the chat, you're great, but like we can just do this show on our and you guys will be like, what in the world? Because she'll start talking as you see, and then I'll start laughing because I'm remembering the backstory to what she's about to say, or I'll start talking and she'll start laughing because she remembers the backstory. And sometimes the backstory just got to stay right here. Right here.
That's it.
Because Lord knows
They can't let us loose in New Orleans next summer. They can't. They cannot let us loose in New Orleans. They really can't.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be nothing nice. New Orleans may never be the same again. Yes, DC, she's in your hometown.
Yes.
DC is a devastating diva of DST.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, ladies, great information, sorors. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. Yes, Get Bellified is in the merch store. In the merch store, I'm working on 2 other pieces of merch: a seasoned Bella piece and a baby Bella's piece.
Nice.
So look for that to come into the merch store soon. This Get Bellified is also in the back of a zip up jacket. So don't forget, go in and shop. I'll leave the details in the description box after this cycles in and it's ready for the replay. So guys, anything else while we have Adrianne here? We talked about a whole lot. We talked about a whole lot, and I'm so glad that so many people were able to come and watch this amazing woman. She is definitely a boss babe. She goes out there and she does what she needs to do every single day. She has been a great resource to me. I know, when she first did her LLC, I was like, yes, baby, let's go. Business, business. And now I am happy to say Brown Girl Bella is now an LLC. Yes. So we are moving and grooving, and boss up, ladies. This is our time to shine. We're homebound, but we are not stricken by what these four walls give us.
No.
Go beyond this box and do amazing things. Banding together is not a deterrence to you. Her shining will not diminish my shine. Me shining will not diminish her shine. So you all can go out here and shine. You don't have to be in competition with each other.
No.
You have to, think that, because she's getting views on this, that I'm not going to get views on something else. We all have room in this YouTube to shine and grow and go beyond our wildest imaginations. So all you have to do is get out there and do it. I thank you all for hanging out with me and Adrianne. Like I said, we could talk for days. We could talk for days, but we want to be cognizant of your time. Thank you all. Divine Wisdom, yes, thank you so much, sis, for coming in. Thank you for the Cash App. I so greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for your time. And you know how I always wrap up, and I say, what? You've been Bellafied. Take care, and I'll see you back here soon. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
All right, stay